The decrepit house at the end of Willow Street had been empty for decades. Local children whispered that it was haunted, that the previous owners had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Mason had just moved to town and knew nothing of the house's reputation when he accepted a dare from his new friends to spend the night inside. Armed with only a flashlight and his phone, he slipped through the rusted gate as dusk fell. The front door creaked open at his touch, as if welcoming him inside. The air was thick with dust and the musty scent of decay. Cobwebs draped from the ceiling like grotesque party decorations. Mason's flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing peeling wallpaper and water-stained floors. "This isn't so bad," he muttered to himself, trying to quiet the growing unease in his stomach. He settled in the living room, where moonlight filtered through cracked windows. At midnight, he would take a selfie to prove he had stayed, then leave at first light. Simple enough. As the night deepened, the temperature in the house plummeted. Mason huddled in his jacket, watching his breath form clouds in the frigid air. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional settling of the old house. Then he heard it, a soft scratching sound coming from upstairs. Just rats, he told himself. Old houses have rats. But the scratching grew louder, more deliberate. It was followed by the unmistakable sound of footsteps crossing the ceiling above him. Heavy, measured steps that couldn't possibly belong to any rodent. Mason's heart hammered against his ribs. His phone, his only connection to the outside world, chose that moment to die. The screen went black despite having been fully charged when he arrived. He pointed his flashlight toward the staircase, revealing nothing but shadows. The footsteps stopped directly above him, then began to move toward the stairs. The first step on the staircase creaked, then the second. Something was coming down. Mason backed toward the front door, only to find it had somehow locked itself. The footsteps continued their slow, inevitable descent. He pulled frantically at the handle, then pounded his fists against the wood. "Hello?" he called out, his voice breaking. "Is someone there?" No response came except for the steady rhythm of steps. Fourth step, fifth step. The temperature dropped further, the moonlight dimming as if something was absorbing the very light from the room. Mason pressed his back against the door, his flashlight beam weakening as the batteries drained inexplicably fast. He could make out a dark silhouette on the stairs now, a shape that seemed to shift and undulate, as if it couldn't decide on a form. The last thing Mason saw before his flashlight died completely was a pale, gaunt face with hollow eyes and a gaping mouth twisted into an unnatural smile. In the morning, Mason's friends came looking for him. They found the front door standing wide open, but of Mason there was no trace, just his flashlight on the floor. Batteries corroded as if they had been there for years, and a single sneaker in the middle of the room. The house at the end of Willow Street remained empty, waiting for its next visitor. And sometimes, on particularly quiet nights, locals swear they can hear footsteps moving through the abandoned house. Two sets now, walking in perfect unison.